einen riesen Applaus für unsere 11. Paarung des morgigen Abends. Ist hier dabei. Meine Damen und Herren, ein Riesenapplaus hier für unsere beiden Größen.
Es gibt Leute, die verärgert man besser nicht. Ui! Die zweite sitzt nicht schon, das war's! Das war's! Mario Adolf geht K.O. Da gibt's auch viel raus, nochmal ein paar Nettigkeiten. Aber Dienst und hier sehen wir es. Linke eingesprungen. Der wirbelt Adolf beim Aufstieg.
Fighting in combat sports like MMA, boxing, and kickboxing is all about skill, discipline, and respect. However, sometimes fighters cross the line, taunting their opponents, breaking the rules, or showing arrogance, only to face instant consequences. These moments prove that karma is real in the fight game. When fighters go too far, they often regret it in the most brutal way possible, whether by getting knocked out, humiliated, or forced to tap out in submission. In this compilation, we look at 15 unforgettable moments when fighters let their ego take over, only to receive immediate payback. Some of these moments happened in high-stakes championship fights, while others took place in underdog matchups where the tables turned in the most shocking way. This is a celebration of justice in combat sports, where disrespect gets punished and humility reigns supreme. One of the most famous instances of instant karma in MMA happened when a cocky fighter kept dropping his hands, daring his opponent to hit him. He danced around the cage, showboating for the crowd, until his opponent landed a clean head kick, knocking him out instantly. It was a brutal reminder that overconfidence can be a fighter's downfall. Respect in combat sports is everything. Fighters typically touch gloves before engaging in a bout, a gesture of mutual respect. However, some fighters use this moment to sucker punch their opponents. In one infamous fight, a competitor tried this dirty move, only for his opponent to recover quickly and deliver a devastating knockout seconds later. The crowd erupted as justice was served instantly. A heavyweight fighter laughed off his opponent's punches, shaking his head to indicate they had no effect. He invited more strikes, believing he was untouchable. Then, out of nowhere, he ate a perfectly timed uppercut that sent him crashing to the canvas. His arrogance cost him the fight, and a highlight went viral as a prime example of why you should never underestimate your opponent. Trash talk is common in combat sports, but some fighters take it too far. One fighter insulted his opponent repeatedly during pre-fight interviews, even slapping him at the weigh-ins. When the fight began, his opponent was calm and composed, until he unleashed a furious knockout punch that ended the fight in seconds. The tables had turned, and the disrespectful fighter was left unconscious.
With this Joby in the black trunks, representing the Mumbai Maniacs. Jason Rummy Sullivan representing the Delhi Gladiators of the red. And here we go for the welterweight. Oh! He's hurt! He's hurt! He's hurt! He's hurt! He's out! Unbelievable! Fighters waiting approximately the same weight of the hometown at one. All he raps, flirts with the girls, and he is one heck of a fighter.
प्रैक्टिस विश्वास नहीं करेंगे 2 साल बैठने के बाद 4 दिन प्रैक्टिस किया मैं अपने दोस्त अमित के साथ था.
This man right here, he's coming to take me, who remain like a gorilla. Oh, gorilla? Is that it?
他说你不敢挑战他，他说你的名字是叫敖鲁德吗？报告，
But
你是10年前还是巅峰？你知道还是巅峰吗？Your prime time was 10 years ago. Now that's gone. Yeah.
you think you can hit me? Let's see if you can do now.
他说你觉得你能上网吗？我现在打起来吗？
In one unforgettable moment, a fighter thought he had the match won and started celebrating early, raising his hands in the air. But his opponent wasn't finished. Seizing the opportunity, he launched a head kick that connected perfectly, sending the showboater to the mat. The lesson? Never celebrate before the final bell rings. A boxer with an undefeated record stepped into the ring, treating his opponent as if he didn't belong there. He toyed with him, keeping his hands low and taunting. Then, a perfectly timed counterpunch sent him crumbling to the canvas. His overconfidence had cost him not only the fight, but also his undefeated status. A fighter was repeatedly warned by the referee for illegal moves, eye pokes, low blows, and fence grabbing. He ignored every warning, thinking he could get away with it. But karma struck back when his opponent, frustrated with the dirty tactics, delivered a brutal knockout that left no room for controversy. Tapping out in submission holds is a way to protect oneself from serious injury, but some fighters, fueled by pride, refuse to tap, even when they're caught in an inescapable hold. In one unforgettable fight, a fighter arrogantly shook his head while in a deep armbar. Seconds later, his arm snapped, and his career in an instant. During the pre-fight stare-down, one fighter got into his opponent's face, shoving him and talking trash. He acted like he had already won. But once the fight started, his opponent unleashed a flurry of punches, knocking him out within the first minute. The stare-down had meant nothing when it came to actual skill inside the cage. One of the most famous examples of karma in combat sports happened when a fighter was dominating his opponent and started yelling at the commentators mid-fight, claiming he was in complete control. Just seconds later, his opponent landed a surprise submission, forcing him to tap out in front of everyone. The moment became an instant classic, proving that no fight is over until it's over.
Dzisiaj z pasem na biodrach.
Siedzę jak na szpilkach, będę musiał się pilnować, żeby nie wstać z krzesła. Ruszyły!
Nie wstawaj, Marek. I mamy
Ruszyły potężny przepęd!
Przewróciła się chyba sama. Próba dosiad, mamy dosiad.
Szkoda, że straciła tą stójkę.
I mamy
Ale
Grand
zobaczymy, ma
Prix,
styl.
tak? Uderza, wchodzą, te ciosy są takie...
W rękę.
Mamy krucyfiks, pięknie. Nie ma czym się bronić, Marta Likiewicz. To może się i mocno. Jeszcze klucz, czy będzie poddanie? Nie, woli ubijać swoją rywalkę. Co się tu dzieje? Nie ma się czym zasłonić. Marta Likiewicz może mieć wiele blizn na twarzy. Wchodzą te ciosy, może nie są silne, ale dochodzą. Koniec! Mamy to! Mamy pierwszą...
Когда он выпускает.
Последние минуты первого раунда. Неплохо по-прежнему чертой дистанцию. И не упустит, скорее всего. Один, другой, третий, четвертый удар. Виктор Да, и действительно, все закончилось в первом раунде.
Здесь спасался, перекрывался как мог, и Виктор Корнеев долго уже...
Стой. What? I hate you shit. You should do. Иди сюда. Иди сюда. После этого прощаемся. Отпусти, быстро, говорю, отпусти. Все, хорош. Руки убрали.
Тихо, пожалуйста.
Шляпа. Пусти.
Хорош, по охране цепляешь.
Я тебя...
Тихо, да нормально же общались, Вилоп, хорош. В октагоне все решишь.
Удары не сильно, защиты достаточно много. Соперника и включается сам удар. Теперь уже в очень плохом положении Марко показывает, что с ним все в порядке, но совсем не защищается от ударов. Сейчас рефери и все, да.
Эй, ты что, гонишь, что ли? Успокойся, да? Что ты тут вспоминаешь?
Fighters are expected to follow the rules, but some choose to break them for an advantage. One fighter delivered an illegal shot at the bell, trying to weaken his opponent. However, his opponent recovered and came back stronger, knocking him out in the next round. The fighter who played dirty ended up suffering the ultimate humiliation. During a match, a fighter deliberately lowered his guard, sticking his chin out to taunt his opponent. The move backfired spectacularly when his opponent responded with a lightning-fast punch that dropped him instantly. What was meant to be a moment of arrogance turned into a highlight reel knockout. Some fighters come out too aggressive, believing they can overwhelm their opponent with sheer pressure. But aggression without defense is a dangerous strategy. In one fight, an overly aggressive competitor charged forward wildly, only to run straight into a perfectly timed counterpunch that knocked him unconscious. Coaches play a crucial role in guiding fighters to victory. But in one fight, a competitor completely ignored his coach's instructions, choosing to brawl recklessly instead. His opponent, who stayed calm and followed a strategic game plan, eventually landed a devastating knockout. The losing fighter learned the hard way that ignoring experience and wisdom comes at a cost. One of the greatest moments of karma in MMA history involved a champion who believed his underdog opponent had no chance. He barely trained for the fight, assuming an easy win, but the underdog had other plans. With sheer determination, he shocked the world by knocking out the overconfident champion, proving that no fighter should ever be overlooked. These 15 moments prove that karma is very real in combat sports. Whether through arrogance, disrespect, or dirty tactics, fighters who go too far often find themselves on the receiving end of instant justice. In the world of MMA, boxing, and kickboxing, humility and respect go a long way, while overconfidence can lead to downfall. Fighting sports are intense, adrenaline-fueled battlegrounds where emotions often run high. While discipline and respect are core principles in combat sports, some fighters cross the line, letting arrogance, unsportsmanlike conduct, or unnecessary aggression take over. However, in the world of martial arts, karma has a way of balancing things out. Many fighters who have taunted their opponents, broken unwritten rules, or displayed excessive showboating have faced instant regret, either through brutal knockouts, humiliating defeats, or career-changing moments. One of the most well-known examples is when Anderson Silva, considered one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, taunted Chris Weidman by keeping his hands down and mocking him mid-fight. Silva had made a career out of dodging punches with incredible head movement, but this time, karma struck back. Weidman landed a clean left hook that sent Silva crashing to the canvas, handing him his first UFC loss in nearly 7 years. This moment became one of the most shocking upsets in MMA history, proving that arrogance in the cage can be costly. Another infamous case of karma in combat sports happened to Ronda Rousey. Once considered the most dominant female fighter in MMA, Rousey carried an air of invincibility and often belittled her opponents in press conferences and interviews. Before her fight with Holly Holm, she refused to touch gloves, a sign of respect in martial arts. What followed was a brutal head kick knockout that ended her reign and sent her career into a downward spiral. The same thing happened when she attempted a comeback against Amanda Nunes. Karma struck again, and she suffered another devastating loss, forcing her into early retirement. Conor McGregor, known for his trash-talking and psychological warfare, has also faced the wrath of karma. In his fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov, McGregor had spent months verbally attacking Khabib's family, religion, and country, making it about one of the most personal in UFC history. However, when the cage door closed, it was all business for Khabib. He dominated McGregor before submitting him in the 4th round. After the fight, emotion spilled over, and Khabib jumped into the crowd, leading to a massive brawl. The aftermath saw McGregor humbled, and he later admitted that he had gone too far with his pre-fight antics. Showboating inside the ring has also led to instant regret for many fighters. One prime example is Victor Ortiz in his bout against Floyd Mayweather. Ortiz, after landing an illegal headbutt, tried to apologize multiple times, but Mayweather, taking advantage of the moment, knocked him out while Ortiz had his hands down. The lesson was clear: protect yourself at all times and never take your opponent lightly.
Just the details of the fighters. Good work, guys. All the best. Tomorrow night. Quickly, guys. Fighters, trainers, please listen.
Another fighter who learned this lesson the hard way was Alistair Overeem. He entered his fight against Antonio Bigfoot Silva with supreme confidence, even mocking Silva in the lead-up. During the fight, Overeem kept his hands low and taunted his opponent. In the 3rd round, karma struck as Silva landed a brutal flurry of punches, knocking Overeem out cold and leaving him unconscious on the canvas. The once arrogant fighter was left humbled, proving that disrespect in the fight game often leads to disaster. In boxing, Nassim Haim was a fighter known for his flamboyant entrances and excessive taunting inside the ring. He was undefeated and believed to be untouchable. However, when he faced Marco Antonio Barrera, he met a fighter who refused to be intimidated. Barrera dominated the fight and at one point, he even slammed Haim into the corner, humiliating him further. Haim never fought again after that loss, showing how karma can completely derail a career. One of the most brutal examples of instant karma occurred in MMA when Chael Sonnen was seconds away from winning the UFC middleweight championship against Anderson Silva. Sonnen had mocked Silva for months, claiming he was a superior fighter. He dominated nearly the entire fight until Silva, in the closing moments, locked in a triangle choke, forcing Sonnen to tap out, just when Sonnen thought he had victory in his hands. Karma had other plans. Another famous example is when Michael Bisping faced Luke Rockhold. Rockhold had already defeated Bisping once before and dismissed him in the lead-up to their rematch, treating him as an unworthy challenger. However, Bisping shocked the world by knocking Rockhold out in the first round, winning the UFC middleweight championship. After the fight, Bisping made sure Rockhold remembered his arrogance, showing that underestimating an opponent can backfire in the worst way. In kickboxing, Bad Hari is a prime example of a fighter whose excessive aggression has cost him. Known for his explosive power and knockout ability, Hari has also been disqualified multiple times for illegal strikes. One of the most notorious moments was when he stomped on a downed opponent, leading to his disqualification and tarnishing his reputation. Despite his talent, his inability to control his aggression has resulted in multiple setbacks in his career.